Have you ever wondered why, even though you eat your veggies, avoid sugar, and try to live healthy, you still feel tired, bloated, stiff in the joints, or find yourself running to the bathroom more often at night? You're not alone. Millions of older adults believe that all vegetables are good for them because that's what we were taught growing up. The more greens, the better. But after age 50, your body changes, and what once helped you may now be quietly hurting you. As shocking as it sounds, it's true. Some vegetables, yes, even the ones labeled as superfoods, could be putting stress on your kidneys, spiking your blood sugar, and fueling inflammation in your joints. And here's the most alarming part. One of the worst offenders might already be sitting in your fridge, waiting for tonight's dinner. In today's video, I'm going to reveal 10 vegetables that seniors should avoid or eat with caution, especially if you want to protect your kidneys, support digestion, and reduce chronic inflammation. Stick with me to the very end, because just one change in your plate could make a real difference in how you feel every day. 1. Peas, the sweet trap you didn't notice. Peas look harmless. They're small, bright green, packed with fiber, protein, and often tossed into soups, salads, or casseroles without a second thought. But for older adults, these tiny vegetables can quietly create big problems. Most people don't realize that peas have a high glycemic load. That means they break down into sugar fast, much faster than leafy greens like spinach or kale. If you're over 60 and your insulin sensitivity has naturally declined, this sudden spike in blood sugar can leave you feeling exhausted, foggy, or even dizzy after a meal. Over time, eating peas regularly can increase your risk of type 2 diabetes or make blood sugar management harder if you already have it. But the trouble doesn't stop there. Peas are also high in purines, compounds that break down into uric acid in the body. Too much uric acid can build up in the joints, leading to painful gout attacks, often starting in the feet or toes. Even if you've never had gout, the excess uric acid could still be silently contributing to kidney stone formation and long-term kidney stress. And if you've ever felt bloated or gassy after a seemingly healthy meal, peas might be to blame. They contain resistant starches and lectins, substances that are difficult for the aging digestive system to break down. As we age, the body produces fewer enzymes, making peas more likely to ferment in the gut and cause gas, bloating, or abdominal discomfort. So while peas might seem like a simple side dish, they could be doing far more harm than good for older adults, especially when eaten regularly. If you've been struggling with bloating, sudden energy crashes, or joint pain and don't know why, it might be time to take a closer look at the peas on your plate. 2. Asparagus, the hidden kidney stressor. Asparagus is often praised as a superfood. It's low in calories, high in fiber, and packed with vitamins like A, C, and K. It shows up on just about every heart-healthy, anti-aging meal plan. But what most people don't know is that asparagus can quietly place stress on the kidneys, especially in adults over 60. First, like peas, asparagus is high in purines. These purines break down into uric acid, which, in excess, can lead to painful gout attacks and increase the risk of kidney stones. For seniors already dealing with arthritis or joint discomfort, asparagus could be making the problem worse behind the scenes. Then there's asparagus's natural diuretic effect. Yes, it makes you urinate more, something often mistaken for detox. But for older adults, this can lead to dangerous dehydration. Why? Because as we age, the body holds on to less water, and the feeling of thirst becomes less reliable. You may not even realize you're dehydrated until symptoms like dizziness, fatigue, or muscle cramps set in. And when you're already prone to joint pain, dehydration can make it even worse. But perhaps most concerning is the pressure asparagus places on the kidneys. By increasing the frequency of urination, asparagus forces your kidneys to filter more fluids, sometimes beyond their capacity, especially if your kidney function has already begun to decline with age. Over time, this can accelerate damage without any obvious warning signs. So, if you've noticed that you feel unusually tired, dizzy, or achy after meals that include asparagus, especially when eaten often, it may not be your imagination. Asparagus may be nutritious in theory, but for some seniors, it comes with a hidden cost the body can no longer afford. 3. Corn. The hidden danger behind the sweet taste. Corn is everywhere. From corn on the cob at backyard cookouts to popcorn at the movies, and even in your morning cereal, this golden grain is woven into everyday life. It's often seen as harmless, or even healthy. Rich in B vitamins and fiber, corn has been promoted for energy and digestion. But for seniors, corn can quietly disrupt blood sugar, digestive health, and even kidney function. Let's start with what you may have already noticed. Your body struggles to digest corn. That's because corn contains cellulose, a tough plant fiber that humans can't fully break down. If you've ever seen pieces of corn in your stool, that's no accident. It's a sign that your system didn't process it well. And for older adults, digestion slows down naturally. This means corn can sit longer in the gut, fermenting and causing gas, bloating, and abdominal discomfort. If you have IBS, diverticulosis, or frequent constipation, corn could be making things worse without you realizing it. Then there's the blood sugar impact. Corn has a high glycemic index. It quickly breaks down into sugar, causing blood glucose to spike, then crash. For seniors already dealing with insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes, regular corn consumption can make managing blood sugar levels feel like a roller coaster. Over time, these spikes and crashes can damage nerves, weaken circulation, and accelerate diabetic kidney disease. But it doesn't end there. Most corn grown today is genetically modified, GMO, and sprayed with powerful herbicides like glyphosate. These chemicals have been linked to gut microbiome disruption, increased inflammation, and toxic buildup in tissues. Older adults, whose detox systems are already slower, may absorb and retain more of these residues, putting extra strain on the liver, kidneys, and immune system. Corn may still have its place in moderation, but if you're eating it regularly, especially in processed forms like corn syrup, cornmeal, or chips, you could be feeding the very conditions you're trying to fight: inflammation, fatigue, digestive discomfort, and rising blood sugar. Sometimes, the most comforting foods hide the biggest risks. 4. Mushrooms. The toxin absorbers. Disguised as a superfood. For years, mushrooms have enjoyed a reputation as a superfood. They're rich in B vitamins, antioxidants, and even compounds that support the immune system and brain health. Many older adults turn to mushrooms, hoping to boost longevity and protect cognitive function. But what few people know is that mushrooms have a dark side, especially for seniors. Unlike most vegetables, mushrooms act like sponges in the soil, soaking up heavy metals and environmental toxins such as lead, cadmium, and arsenic. If they're grown in contaminated or poorly regulated environments, which is more common than you might think, those toxins don't disappear. They end up in your body, and that's especially concerning for people over 60 whose detox systems, liver, kidneys, lymph, naturally slow down with age. Over time, these toxins can quietly accumulate, contributing to organ stress, memory issues, and weakened kidney function. But there's more. White button mushrooms, the most common type found in grocery stores, contain a compound called agaritine. Some research has suggested that, when consumed in large quantities and over long periods, agaritine may carry carcinogenic potential. Cooking helps reduce this risk, but many people eat mushrooms raw or only lightly sautéed, unknowingly increasing their exposure. And if you've ever experienced bloating, rashes, or unexplained fatigue after eating mushrooms, it might not be just your age. Mushrooms contain fungal proteins that can trigger immune responses, especially in people who develop food sensitivities later in life. For some, this leads to digestive upset, sinus issues, joint pain, or skin irritation that goes completely misdiagnosed. To be clear, not all mushrooms are dangerous. But for seniors, especially those with weakened detox capacity, gut issues, or autoimmunity, it's essential to be cautious. Choose organic mushrooms, cook them thoroughly, and watch for subtle symptoms after eating them. Because while mushrooms may look mild and earthy, their effects, if overlooked, can be anything but. 5. Cabbage, the unexpected thyroid disruptor. Cabbage has long been praised as one of the healthiest vegetables. It's low in calories, full of fiber, and packed with antioxidants and vitamin C. From coleslaw to soups to stir-fries, it's a staple in many senior diets and often recommended for weight loss and heart health. But beneath its crunchy surface, cabbage hides a hidden risk for older adults, particularly those with thyroid or digestive issues. Cabbage belongs to the cruciferous vegetable family, which contains compounds called goitrogens. These compounds can interfere with your thyroid's ability to absorb iodine, a mineral essential for producing thyroid hormones. And here's why that matters. As we age, the thyroid naturally slows down. But if you're already experiencing fatigue, unexplained weight gain, depression, or sensitivity to cold, cabbage may be silently making those symptoms worse. It doesn't stop there. Cabbage also contains a sugar called raffinose, which ferments in the gut. This might not be an issue for younger people with strong digestion, but for seniors, who often have reduced stomach acid and slower gut motility, this can lead to bloating, gas, cramping, and acid reflux. These symptoms are often blamed on aging or dismissed as normal, when in fact, they may be your body telling you it's struggling to process certain foods, and cabbage could be one of the culprits. For people with IBS, hypothyroidism, or a sensitive digestive tract, raw cabbage can be especially harsh. But there is good news. How you prepare it matters. Cooking cabbage, whether steaming, boiling, or sautéing, reduces its goitrogenic effect and breaks down those hard-to-digest fibers. Even better, fermented cabbage like sauerkraut or kimchi can introduce beneficial probiotics that support gut health instead of disrupting it. So no, you don't have to give up cabbage forever. But if you've been dealing with sluggish energy, thyroid issues, or digestive discomfort, it may be time to rethink how and how often you're eating it. Sometimes, the healthiest choice isn't what you eat, it's how your body responds. 6. Eggplant. The silent inflammation. Trigger. Eggplant is beloved in many cuisines. It absorbs flavor beautifully, has a meaty texture, and fits well in everything from stir-fries to casseroles to Mediterranean dishes. It's low in calories, high in fiber, and often recommended in heart-healthy diets. But for many older adults, eggplant could be silently fueling inflammation, joint pain, and digestive discomfort. Here's why. Eggplant belongs to the nightshade family, a group of vegetables that includes tomatoes, potatoes, and bell peppers. These foods contain a natural chemical called solanine, which, in sensitive individuals, can trigger inflammatory responses. If you're over 60 and suffer from arthritis, gout, or other joint-related issues, you may have noticed increased stiffness or pain after eating dishes that contain eggplant. You may have brushed it off as just getting older, but in reality, eggplant might be quietly worsening your symptoms. It also contains oxalates, the same compounds found in spinach, that can contribute to kidney stone formation, particularly in people with a history of stones or reduced kidney function. If you're already dealing with kidney concerns, eggplant could be adding pressure without any obvious warning. And let's not forget digestion. Eggplant skin is tough, and its seeds can be irritating to a sensitive gut. For seniors with acid reflux, slow digestion, or irritable bowels, eggplant can cause bloating, gas, or abdominal discomfort, especially when fried or undercooked. Even more subtle, some people experience mild allergic reactions to eggplant without realizing it. Symptoms like itching in the mouth, tingling lips, or slight nausea may occur minutes after eating, but are often ignored or misattributed. So what can you do? If you enjoy eggplant, the method of preparation is key. Always cook it thoroughly. Baking, roasting, or grilling helps break down solanine and softens the tough fibers. Peeling the skin before cooking can make it even easier on your digestive system. And if you notice joint pain, fatigue, or stomach upset after meals with eggplant, try removing it for a few weeks and see how your body responds. Sometimes, the foods we love the most are the ones we need to listen to more carefully. 7. Potatoes. The blood sugar bomb in disguise. Few foods bring more comfort than a warm, buttery potato. Mashed, baked, roasted, or fried, potatoes are a staple in kitchens around the world. They're filling, familiar, and often considered a healthy alternative to processed carbs. But for seniors, potatoes can be one of the most deceptive dangers on the dinner plate. The truth is, potatoes have a very high glycemic index. That means they convert to sugar in your bloodstream very quickly, sometimes faster than table sugar itself. For older adults, especially those with type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, or pre-diabetic conditions, this can spell trouble. Sudden blood sugar spikes can lead to energy crashes, increased belly fat, fatigue, nerve damage, and long-term damage to the kidneys and cardiovascular system. But that's not all. When potatoes are fried, as in French fries, hash browns, or chips, they create a chemical called acrylamide, formed during high-temperature cooking. This compound has been linked to oxidative stress, inflammation, and even cancer risk, especially when consumed regularly. And even baked or boiled potatoes, while healthier than fried, can still create problems, especially if you remove the skin. Without the fiber-rich skin to slow digestion, potatoes can cause sharp sugar surges, followed by hunger and mood swings, making it harder to maintain a healthy weight or stable metabolism. So, what's the alternative? Try switching to sweet potatoes. They're lower on the glycemic index, higher in fiber, and rich in beta-carotene and antioxidants, better suited for protecting senior health. If you still enjoy regular potatoes, eat them in moderation, keep the skin on, and boil or bake them instead of frying. Portion control is key, because even a healthy food becomes harmful if it overwhelms your body's ability to process it. Potatoes may feel like comfort food, but for aging bodies, they can become a hidden source of inflammation, blood sugar chaos, and metabolic stress. The solution isn't fear, it's awareness. 8. Spinach, the superfood that may be stressing your kidneys. Spinach is a classic symbol of healthy eating. It's praised for its iron, magnesium, vitamin K, and powerful antioxidants. From smoothies to salads to sautéed sides, it's often considered a must for senior nutrition. But for older adults, especially those with kidney issues or bone concerns, too much spinach can quietly do more harm than good. Here's why. Spinach is extremely high in oxalates, naturally occurring compounds that bind with calcium in the body. When that happens, your body forms calcium oxalate crystals, the most common type of kidney stones. And if you're over 60, your kidneys may not filter as efficiently as they once did. That means these stones can form more easily, leading to sharp pain, nausea, and urinary blockages, sometimes without warning. But kidney stones aren't the only issue. Those same oxalates that bind to calcium in your kidneys can also interfere with calcium absorption in your bones. And that's a serious concern for older adults, especially women, who need strong bones to avoid osteoporosis and fractures. In other words, while spinach seems like a bone-building food, excessive amounts could actually weaken your bones over time. So should you stop eating spinach altogether? Not necessarily. How you prepare spinach makes a big difference. Boiling or steaming it helps lower the oxalate content significantly. And pairing it with calcium-rich foods, like yogurt, cheese, or fortified plant milks, can help reduce oxalate absorption in the gut. Also, moderation is key. If you're adding raw spinach to your smoothie every morning, or eating it daily in large portions, it may be time to switch things up. Try rotating in lower oxalate greens like romaine, arugula, or butter lettuce a few times per week. Spinach still has a place in a healthy diet. But for older adults, it's not just about what's healthy in general. It's about what's healthy for you now. 9. Kale, the superfood that isn't always so super. After 60, kale has become the poster child of clean eating. It's loaded with fiber, vitamin C, calcium, and powerful antioxidants. You see it in juices, chips, salads, and even touted as a cure-all in health blogs. But when it comes to older adults, kale's superfood status comes with a few important warnings. Just like spinach, kale is high in oxalates. If you eat too much of it, especially raw, it can increase your risk of developing calcium oxalate kidney stones. And that's a serious issue for seniors with declining kidney function or a history of stones. But there's another hidden risk: your thyroid. Kale belongs to the cruciferous vegetable family, which contains goitrogens, compounds that interfere with your thyroid's ability to absorb iodine. For someone already dealing with hypothyroidism, fatigue, weight gain, cold sensitivity, or brain fog, kale can make those symptoms even worse when consumed in excess. And if you're blending it raw into smoothies or eating it uncooked in salads every day, you may be increasing those risks without realizing it. Here's the good news: kale isn't the enemy. It just needs the right preparation. Cooking kale, by steaming, sautéing, or boiling, reduces both oxalates and goitrogens, making it much safer for your kidneys and thyroid. It also makes the fibers easier to digest, which is helpful if you've been dealing with bloating or gas after eating raw kale. Also, consider rotation. You don't need kale every single day to be healthy. Mixing in other greens like chard, arugula, or bok choy gives your body variety and keeps nutrient levels balanced. So if kale has been your go-to green, that's okay. Just remember, even the healthiest foods can become harmful when the body changes, but the habits stay the same. 10. Bell peppers, the surprising inflammation trigger. They're colorful, crunchy, and packed with vitamin C. Bell peppers brighten up salads, stir-fries, and snacks, and they're often labeled as one of the healthiest veggies around. But for many older adults, bell peppers can quietly trigger digestive problems, joint pain, and even inflammation. Let's start with digestion. Bell peppers have a tough outer skin that's difficult to break down, especially for seniors whose digestion naturally slows with age. Lower stomach acid and reduced enzyme production make peppers more likely to cause bloating, gas, or acid reflux, even when cooked. And if you have a sensitive stomach, GERD, or slow digestion in general, you may already have felt the discomfort after meals that include bell peppers, without realizing they were the cause. But the bigger issue lies in the fact that bell peppers belong to the nightshade family, just like eggplant, tomatoes, and white potatoes. These vegetables contain a compound called solanine, which has been linked to inflammation, especially in people with arthritis, autoimmune issues, or chronic joint pain. So if you've been noticing aching knees, stiff fingers, or sore joints after eating what you thought was a healthy meal, your favorite stuffed peppers might be partly to blame. Some people are also sensitive or mildly allergic to compounds in bell peppers. Reactions can show up as skin rashes, sinus congestion, headaches, or unexplained fatigue, often dismissed as seasonal or age-related. So, what can you do? You don't have to give up bell peppers completely. Roasting or peeling them makes them far easier to digest, as the tough fibers soften and the outer skin is removed. Cooked peppers are generally gentler on the gut and less likely to cause irritation. And if you're experiencing ongoing inflammation or discomfort, try swapping peppers for vitamin C-rich alternatives like zucchini, steamed broccoli, or cooked carrots. Because sometimes, even the healthiest-looking foods can have a hidden impact on the body, especially one that's changed with time. And listening to those signals is the healthiest habit of all. So there you have it. 10 vegetables that, while praised as healthy, may actually be working against your body as you age. Maybe some of them surprised you. Maybe you've been eating them for years, believing you were doing the right thing, when really, your fatigue, joint pain, bloating, or kidney discomfort may have been quietly building with every bite. Here's the truth no one talks about enough. What's healthy at 30 isn't always healthy at 70. Your body changes, and the foods you once thrived on might now need a second look. But this isn't about fear. It's about empowerment. You now know what to watch for and how to make smarter, safer choices for your kidneys, joints, digestion, and energy. Small changes, like switching how you cook spinach, limiting raw kale, or skipping that extra helping of corn, can help you feel lighter, clearer, and more in control of your health. And now, I want to hear from you. Which vegetable on this list surprised you the most? Have you ever noticed bloating after peas or joint pain after eggplant?